The lymphatic system consists of a network of vessels and tissues that contain and transport lymph. Lymph forms from interstitial fluid in lymphatic capillaries and flows through lymph vessels and nodes, eventually returning to the blood vessels. It works closely with the circulatory system and is structured similarly, with its own capillaries and vessels. The lymphatic system has three primary functions: draining excess interstitial fluid from tissue and blood, transporting dietary lipids, and promoting disease resistance. The lymphatic system consists of a network of vessels and tissues that contain and transport lymph. Lymph forms from interstitial fluid in lymphatic capillaries and flows through lymph vessels and nodes, eventually returning to the blood vessels. It works closely with the circulatory system and is structured similarly, with its own capillaries and vessels. The lymphatic system has three primary functions: draining excess interstitial fluid from tissue and blood, transporting dietary lipids, and promoting disease resistance. Due to pressure differences between blood vessels and interstitial space, significant amounts of fluid and solutes filter out of the blood and are not reabsorbed. Each day, about 20 liters of fluid and solutes are filtered out of capillaries at the arterial end. About 17 liters are returned back to the bloodstream at the venous end. The remaining 3 liters of fluid and solutes drain from blood and tissues into lymphatic vessels. The lymphatic system also absorbs lipids and lipid-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K via lacteals in the small intestine. Macrophage cells found in the lymph nodes and spleen phagocytize invading cells. B lymphocyte cells in lymph nodes and the spleen produce antibodies that mark and destroy foreign antigens in cells. The unique structure of lymphatic capillaries allows fluid inflow from interstitial space, but not outflow. Overlapping endothelial cells make up the wall of the lymphatic capillary. Anchoring filaments hold the cells in place. Drainage occurs as pressure in the interstitial fluid increases, causing swelling. The anchored filaments pull the endothelial cells slightly apart, allowing more fluid to flow into the lymphatic capillary. When pressure is greater inside the lymphatic capillary, drainage stops, and the endothelial cells overlap tightly to prevent lymph outflow. The lymphatic system returns drained lymph to the bloodstream through lymphatic ducts. The right lymphatic duct drains the upper right side of the body. The thoracic duct drains the rest of the body. The ducts bring drained fluid to the right and left subclavian veins. Skeletal muscle and respiratory pumping promotes the flow of lymph toward the thoracic and right lymphatic ducts. The same processes return venous blood to the heart. Valves in the lumen of lymphatic vessels and veins keep flow proceeding in one direction. The pumping moves fluid in 3 steps. 1. At rest, both valves are open and fluid flows toward the heart. 2. Muscle contraction compresses the vessel, pushing fluid through the open proximal valve. The distal valve is closed, preventing backflow. 3. As the muscle relaxes, the proximal valve closes and the distal valve opens, resuming flow. This process essentially milks the fluid from the vessel. transporting it toward the heart. The respiratory pump also promotes lymph flow with alternate compression and decompression. Valves again prevent fluid backflow. Before inhalation, fluid fills the thoracic and abdominal vessels. Inhalation expands the thoracic cavity, forcing the diaphragm down and compressing abdominal vessels. Fluid is pushed toward the heart. The diaphragm returns upward during exhalation, decompressing abdominal vessels. Alternate compressions and decompressions move the fluid into the thoracic vessels or ducts.